5. Mount Yoshino. One of the most significant aspects of Japanese culture is the celebration of sakura, or the cherry blossom. Tourists flock to the island country to observe and partake of the centuries-old tradition, visiting parks, and enjoying picnics or hanami. You will find the chefs outdoing themselves creating cherry blossom-themed cuisine. Mount Yoshino in Nara Prefecture is not only one of the most beautiful places in Japan, but also has an outstanding cherry blossom display. Mount Yoshinoyama is also a World Heritage Site because of its long-standing relationship with Shinto and Buddhism religions. Mystical monks and worshippers seek enlightenment in the region endowed with natural glory and spiritual depth. You can easily access Mount Yoshino by train from Osaka, Nara, or Kyoto. The best way to explore the area's beauty is by foot, after arrival at Yoshino Station. That said, there are bus tours and the Yoshino Ropeway. The ropeway will give you an aerial view of the majestic mountain region's 30,000-plus cherry trees. There are 4 cherry tree divisions on the mountain, planted to blossom in different seasons. The most astounding seasonal view, however, is in spring, when the cherry blossoms bloom. The mountain's 4 regions, which start with the lower section and end with the upper and inner regions, have 1,000 cherry trees. Mount Yoshino's cherry blossoms are the inspiration behind much of the country's folk songs, waka poetry, and art. Some other attractions in the region include the Nyorinji Temple and the Kinpushenji Temple. 6. KENROKUEN Garden. Japan has gorgeous landscaped gardens. In the East Asia country, a garden is not just an art form but has heavy religious meanings. The Japanese also create their gardens to complement other art forms. Every visitor to Japan must visit one of these gardens. To miss out is a tragedy. KENROKUEN Garden is one of the most beautiful places in Japan, full of trees, charming bridges, flowers, tea houses, and walking trails. The garden also makes it to the list of the top 3 must-see landscaped gardens in the country. KENROKUEN is a feat of landscaping and planning excellence. It was the brainchild of the Maeda family that built it in 1676. Its original name was Renchitai. The family tended to the garden over 3 centuries, restoring it after a fire razed it down in 1759. In 1822, the garden became KENROKUEN, a name that roughly translates to the Garden of the 6 Sublimities. These 6 elements include seclusion, broad views, human artistry, antiquity, flowing water, and spaciousness. As per old Chinese theories, these 6 elements can create a perfect garden. The garden has an expansive park spanning over 25 acres. The park-like space was Kanazawa Castle's outer garden. A 3.5-meter-high fountain is the garden's attraction. The fountain is Japan's oldest and uses the natural power of water pressure to refresh the garden. The Kasumagake Pond at the end of the undulating garden pathway and several seclusion spots is a remarkable sight. At the Hisagoike Pond, you will find the Yuga Ote, a 1774 tea house, and the oldest of all buildings in the garden. The beautiful landscape also hosts the Koto Hitoro Lantern, the garden symbol, and the Meiji Memorial. 7. KABIRA Bay, Ishigaki Island, Okinawa Prefecture. The Japanese say that the KABIRA Bay is so beautiful that an artist cannot ensnare it in one painting. The bay on Ishigaki Island shifts colors from green to blue under the bright sunlight. The bay is home to diverse tropical fish and reefs. It is also the first area to cultivate the black pearl. Therefore, if you are looking for a different flavor of Japan, away from the mountains and skyscrapers, try KABIRA Bay. You will find clean white sandy beaches, glass-like waters, joyful people, and many coral reefs. Did you know Okinawa has one of the most laid-back and happiest communities on Earth? Okinawans are flourishing in their love for their folk music and dance and the coastal area's scenic beauty. The thing about KABIRA Bay is that you cannot take a swim here despite all its magnificent beauty. The area around Ishigaki Island has intense, dangerous currents. Having said that, there are many activities to take part in at the bay, besides the simple pleasure of reveling in its beauty. As an illustration, take a glass-bottom boat tour to the waters and view exquisite coral and fish. 8. TOTTORI Sand Dunes. The Tottori Dunes in Tottori Prefecture have a desert aura that beautifully contrasts the mountain feel of Japan. They make up the Sannin Kaigan National Park and are about 16 kilometers, spreading along the coast of the Sea of Japan. The dunes result from millennials of sand deposits from the Sendaigawa River to the sea. Over time, the currents wash the sand back to the coastline, creating the 2-kilometer-wide dunes. Some of them are over 50 meters high, changing their shapes constantly as the wind and tide movements go over them. The dynamic landscape is a sightseeing attraction with horse and camel riders waiting to take you deep into the enchanting landscape. If you are feeling more adventurous, try the sandboarding and paragliding amenities available from local operators. For excellent views of the dunes, visit the Sakyu Center observation deck and go sightseeing on a chairlift. The Sand Museum with tons of sand sculptures is but a short walk from the dunes. Visit Japan. Final word. This concise list of 8 of the most beautiful places in Japan is but a start. Visit the land of contrasting landscapes, religion, and culture and find more stunning places.